I don't believe in the idea of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's. I guess there's chemical dependencies
For sure.
right? But I think that like I just believe like in mind over matter type of situation. So it's like if I don't like I've had people be like, you're addicted to gambling because I was playing poker 6 days a week, winning and losing a lot of money. I was like, I'm not addicted to gambling. I love this game.
Yeah.
You know, like, is that dude addicted to basketball or does he love basketball?
Like, is it a mindset or is it, I mean, I think it could be a bit of both depending on like who the person is, you know, and what they deal with.
Well, I mean, when people say they have an addictive personality, I kind of hear that as like, you have a passionate personality. You have a personality where it's like, you go all in. Addiction to me means you are powerless to help it.
Yeah.
You
like
know,
you can't get out of it.
Like you literally, your body, like you're like, I can't not do this. I cannot do this. I just want to. So I'm not going to try not to.
For sure.
Because even like with gambling, I took a couple years off a few years ago. Well, now I guess more than a decade ago. But I was like, just one day I'm like, I'm going to stop this. It got a little bit too out of hand. And I was like, I'm going to stop. And then I just did.
A lot of that comes to like willpower, you know?
Yeah.
Like how strong your will is, right?
Well, do you want it?
Yeah.
You know?
do you want it? Do you believe in stopping or do you think you absolutely need it to keep going?
Mindset. That's the difference between being passionate and being addicted.
For sure.
Right? Addicted, you know, but again, other than oxygen and water and food, you don't really need anything else to go. You want other things to go. Other things make you feel safer. They make you feel more comfortable, but you don't actually need them. You could think you need them, but again, that's just a different mindset. My mindset is you don't need it.
Yeah.
I just get to, you know.
For sure.
I don't need a drink. I get to have a drink.
You get to enjoy it when you want to.
Yeah. But again, you know, everybody's wired a little bit differently.
For sure.
But I do think it plays into sort of, you know, just the way I approach everything.
I like that. You want to get started?
Yeah. Are we good?
So today, our guest is Phillip Frankland Lee.
What's that?
Right. So co-host of the NADC podcast. You know, the creator, owner, Sushi by Scratch, Pasta Bar, co-owner, NADC Burger with myself, and co-host on this lovely show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So I think, you know, I wanted to take a chance to, you know, kind of go into your story, you know, where you came from, how you got here, the struggles that you've been through and how you kind of overcame those struggles. So our audience can get to know like who's behind the Not a Damn Chance podcast. Because, I mean, you, of all people, live the Not a Damn Chance lifestyle to the fullest, you know? So I kind of want to, you know, start at the beginning, like get your origin story.
Sure.
And then we could kind of explore from there and see where it takes us.
Yeah. I mean, the origin story is like so there's three things that I'm good at. I'm good at cooking, I'm good at drumming, and I'm good at playing cards.
Okay.
Those are the only three things that I've ever made money at, that I've ever been professional or amateur, you know, semi-professional at, or treated as a profession, so to speak. I was never a professional poker player in the sense that I was, you know, but I treated it as a profession. That's how I made my money. And what's interesting, and now that, you know, Aurelia's 3 years old and, you know, we both have kids, I think about this because I learned to count. My grandmother taught me how to count by laying out playing cards, you know, because the 2 of diamonds has 2 diamonds on it. The 3 diamonds has 3 diamonds. So I learned how to count using cards, not counting cards like blackjack, but I learned arithmetic, you know, 2 plus 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals, that's how you equal 5.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I learned numbers. For my second birthday, I got a drum set.
Okay.
for my third birthday, I got a chef's knife.
Insane, dude.
Yeah. So
yeah, I knew about the chef's knife, but I didn't know about the drum set.
Yeah. Yeah. So my dad was a record producer, musician, played in bands his whole life. And so, you know, I got a drum set for my second birthday, and, you know.
Was it like a baby drum set or like an actual drum set?
Well, kind of both. My dad was, I could be getting this mildly wrong, but I believe he had just finished producing Simple Minds. And there's a Slingerland kit that was left over that then I got. But
rad.
As a 2-year-old, a drum set is huge.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I believe my mom, the story goes that my mom went out because I loved the drums. So my mom went out and got me like an actual, like, you know,
little tiny one for you to play. Yeah.
But I was always, before that, every night I would want to sit down in the kitchen on top of a little bucket, and they would sit like pots and pans upside down, and I would hit them,
dude.
You know, because I mean, I grew up in the studio. I grew up watching
around music.
Yeah, I grew up, you know, jams all the time. You know, I'm there watching, you know, my dad produce, or my dad, you know, play music, or, you know, whatever. So like I was just always drumming, and that's the thing that I gravitated towards. And so, you know, it's funny that the 3 things I'm proficient at as a grown adult are the 3 things that the first 3 things that I was given.
Yeah, wild.
You know? So now, you know, I think about that with Aurelia. It's like, what are we giving her? You know,
like make your choices wisely, right?
Yeah, but I mean, also the thing is, like, you know, but then as I grew up, there's, you know, you want to be lots of things. I played baseball, I played basketball,
For sure.
I played you know, football, a little bit of football. But you know, then I got into skateboarding, and you know, it was really, I think, in like the 5th or 6th grade. I'd already been in like 2 bands, and like by the 6th grade.
Wow.
And I'd been in a band in like the 3rd grade, and then the 5th grade, and then I believe in the 6th grade we had moved to where my dad still lives now. And I was like, I want to start a band. And he's like, I'm not setting your drums up again unless, here's the deal, I'll only set them up if you play 2 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Damn.
If you don't play, I'm not setting them up so you can make some noise every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to set them up if you're going to be a drummer.
Like if you're going to practice your craft and actually use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
he set that up, and I did, and like I'm in a studio, right? I'm in the drum booth of a studio is where my drums are set up, because we have a studio. It's okay. We have the drum set.
That's what he does for a living.
So he sets me up with the fucking studio, you know, headphones. I've got an old school, you know, power amp with you know, with back then a CD player. You know, and I could plug in the CD player, and I can listen to records in the headphones, and then play drums along to it. So I would just put in my favorite, you know, CD, and then I could just play start to finish.
Sick.
And so, you know, by the time I was in like 7th grade, I was, you know, there was a place called the Cobalt Cafe in the Valley, and that was like the all ages venue. That was like, on a Friday night in 7th grade, you can go, and there'd be 400 kids, you know, going to see these bands who are all 15 and 16-year-olds.
Damn,
you know?
That's pretty sick, though.
And so my friends and I, our favorite local band was, and they were like the biggest band around, was called LAO.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm telling you a bunch of shit you don't actually know.
No, that's why I love this. You know?
Maybe that's why I'm going this route, instinctually. So we go and see LAO. I have their first 2 albums. It's our favorite band, you know, and in summer, right after 8th grade ends, we hear that LAO is looking for a drummer.
Okay.
One of my friends comes and tells me, and now I had just graduated 8th grade like a week prior, and everyone in LAO was already out of high school.
Oh, okay.
But they put up on a message board or something, you know, we're looking for a drummer, and everyone's like, you should try out. I'm like, dude, they're all like 20 and I'm 13.
Yeah, you're just
maybe I was
about
14
to go into
yeah. I was
high
like,
school,
I'm not even
basically.
in high school yet, and these guys are out of high school.
Yeah.
And so I go to my dad and I'm like, what do you think? He's like, you're a better drummer than anybody who's going to be, who's around here. I must have been 13. Yeah, because I would, okay. Not to skip too far ahead, but so for the next couple of weeks, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I got my headphones on and I'm playing both like CD1, CD2.
All their songs,
CD1,
basically.
Just every single song, and I'm just locked in.
Yeah.
And so I go into the, to the audition, and I didn't put, on my, you don't have a resume, but I didn't tell them I'm 13 years old. So I show up and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, 13. And they're like,
were you like a big 13 or like?
No, I'm not. No. I mean, I've always hung out with older people.
Yeah.
I've always had older friends. I carry myself old. I wasn't a big kid.
Yeah.
But I carry myself as older. And so sat down, played every song flawlessly. And they were like, that was really great. We'll get back to you. And then like a week later, they bring me back in, do it again. And then like a week later, they're like, we're gonna do something crazy here, and we're gonna hire you, let you be in the band, because there just isn't anyone better than you.
Damn, let's go.
And then I made that. Then I was like, I was like, I will flyer harder than anyone. I will promote harder than anyone. I will put in the work harder than anyone.
That goes to show, by, obviously your dad pushing for it in the beginning, and then your will to like be like, this is something that I believe in. Like, I want to be good at playing drums. And then you just put in the work, like, blue collar every single day, hours at a time. And then you heard this calling, and then you took it back. You played both of their albums, just got as good as you can at both of them, and then it just shows that, hard work, persistence, it pays off in the end. Like, you don't know when it's going to pay off, but it will pay off as long as you keep going.
Had I not started 3 years prior playing 2 hours a day every day, I would not have been good enough to get in this band. I ended up staying in that band for years, but even thinking back, like in the 7th grade, my dad cut me off. He's like, no more money for after school. Right by we lived like 5 houses from the school, and then like 5 houses later is like Jamba Juice and the movie theater and Taco Bell and our favorite sushi restaurant. And it was a cheap not all you can eat, but it was called half price sushi. So you could go get like a piece of tuna for like $1.
So
this is back, this is maybe in the 90s. I can't even remember. Early 2000s. But in the 7th grade, he goes, one day I was like, hey, can I get $5 to go, get a Jamba Juice, get Taco Bell, and see a movie? You could do that for like $5.
The golden days, the golden years,
and he's like, yes, but this is the last $5. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you have a job starting tomorrow. And I go, what? Wow. He goes, I have a friend who has an antique store. You know him, not you, but he said to me, like, I can't remember his name. It was about a mile from the house. He's like, Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to go after school. You're going to skateboard, and you're going to dust antiques, break down boxes, 2 hours a day, 2 days a week. And you'll get $5 an hour. And that'll give you'll do 4 hours a week. That'll give you 4 days worth of $5. You'll be the richest kid in your friend group,
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that he did that.
I hated it. I mean, I was pissed. Sure. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go skateboarding. I wanted to go, fucking tag walls with my friends. I wanted to go get in fucking fist fights. I didn't want to go. Everyone's at a party and I'm dusting antiques
and breaking down boxes.
But it did set the stage for the way that I approach work.
What's also it's like it gave you structure.
Yeah.
And it also gave you like a meaning. So now like money has a meaning to it. Like you have to work for that. Like you can't just get it.
Yeah, I don't just get to have stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't come by no stretch did I come from a poor family. I didn't come from a rich family. I'm the oldest of 6. So even my parents had money. there's 6 fucking kids, you know,
For sure.
and they're divorced, you know, so
6 kids that's expensive.
no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you make good money, having 6 kids is expensive. And so, you know, I just sort of had this DIY mentality,
Yeah.
you know, and I was obsessed with, you know, punk rock, and punk rock is DIY, and skateboarding is DIY, and, you know, all these things that then led me to, you know, join the band, and then from there to another, you know, and just kind of grow.
How long did you play music for?
So, okay, so I joined LAO right out of 8th grade.
Okay.
I was when I was in the 10th grade, I dropped out of high school because that's when we started like doing like US tours. It's like when we started like touring enough that I needed to drop out of school.
Did you do like homeschool or anything while you're on
No,
the road?
I took, well, I say drop out because it sounds cool, but I took there's a test called the CHSPE, the California High School Proficiency Exam.
Okay.
And you don't get a diploma. You get a certificate of proficiency, which means I can read and write, basically.
Sick.
Right?
All right.
And you could use that to get a job. Back when you used to have to like have a diploma to get a job, it meant something.
But as long as you had this
This
certificate.
this was the equivalent.
Okay. Cool.
Also, it meant I wouldn't get a truancy ticket if I get pulled over by the cops. You know, because
Yeah.
if you're under, I think 17 and you're out during the day, you can get a truancy ticket. So at halfway to, and you have to be halfway through 10th grade. So halfway through 10th grade, I stopped going to school so I can go live, you know, on the road.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we're doing like weekends here, and you know, but as a band too, we had the same discipline. We practiced 6 days a week, and we played a minimum of 2 shows per week.
Wow.
Every week.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
wasn't a day that we weren't just getting better.
You guys are on it.
Yeah. Because that was just sort of the mentality that we had. We wanted to be the best, you know? And so, you know, do that for a couple of years. And then what happened is I you know, after a couple of years, had a falling out with the band. I ended up quitting.
Okay.
Didn't really know what to do. My stepmother worked at a mortgage company. So she got me a job in the call center.
Damn.
And so here I am. I'm like
so from this like punk lifestyle, like traveling.
I'm wearing a fucking suit and tie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wearing a suit and tie, and I'm at, you know, I'm answering phones, hearing about, you know, being like, oh, sorry, you know, your mortgage, you're this, you're that, you know, like.
Yeah, like a huge like life 180 basically.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I'm now probably at this. I'm guessing I was probably about 17, so I was 4 years, you know, into it. I was 2 years out of high school, and I'm going to this job. I'm trying something new. I quit the band in somewhat of a dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
There was a big falling out, and so I'm like, all right, try something different.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm going to work, and I'm seeing all these like 24-year-olds driving to work in Ferraris, 25-year-olds driving Ferraris. And I'm like, how? I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah.
And in the call center, one of the managers is like, well, if they're on the business side of it, you work in the call center, they're on sales teams. They get commission. And so they're like, if you want to work your way up there, there are free seminars and classes you can take during your lunch break that will teach you about those things.
Yeah.
So I started taking all of those. So I didn't go to lunch. Every day I would go to these
Just educating yourself.
yeah. And so I started not just being a regular call center guy, I started solving problems to the point that one of the teams took notice because several of their clients had told them, oh yeah, it's already taken care of. Phillip took care of it for me. And they're like, who's Phillip? And they had to track down and find out that was me. And one of the team goes, yo, you up here on my team.
Damn.
So boom,
sick.
I'm on this team.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Dope.
so then I'm like I'm just the grunt on the team, right? I'm the low guy. Don't really have much of anything, and I'm doing kind of the same job, but just for this team. And so a couple of months in, you know, it's funny. So I had my boss, the guy who ran the team, was probably 26 at the time, which is crazy because now a 26-year-old is a kid to me.
Yeah,
and back then he was like grown up
for sure.
Because I'm like 17, and you know, these guys were making millions of dollars
off commissions,
lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of everything. And so here I am, and I'm like, I'm watching this team, like literally, like we're losing deals because no one's getting back to them. So I start saving and fixing all the deals.
Oh wow.
And and every month we would like sit down and like go over like, all right, this month here's what we did in sales, and this is our commissions and blah blah. And one month we sit down and he goes, who did these, who closed these deals? I didn't close these. Who closed these and I was like, I did. Yeah. And he's like, what? And he goes, you know what? I'm giving you the entire state of Ohio.
Oh, damn.
I'm giving you all of my accounts. You are now the youngest business development representative in the entire company.
So you basically just got boosted straight up.
Because
from doing the work.
I just did the thing that I should be. I've always had this idea. It's like, just do the next, like, don't do your job. Do the job you want.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. If you see yourself somewhere, like, take all the necessary steps to get there.
And I'll never forget when he's like, all right, you're going to be they called him a BDR. You're going to be a BDR. Come over to my house this weekend, and I'm going to give you some real training. Here's the training. You ready for this? We just get high and drunk, and we watch Boiler Room.
Oh my goodness!
And Glengarry Glen Ross. He's like, that's what you do. And so here I am now, like 17, 18 years old, in a corner office with a window with one of those little, you know, earpieces, suit and tie, you know, and selling stated income mortgages.
That's
you know,
wild,
so this must have been 2007 because about 6 months into this, 2008 hits and the housing crisis.
Oh wow!
Right. So
so you had like a year of this.
Yeah. So this watch is the only thing that remains from that time. The very first thing I did with my first paycheck is I went and bought this watch because this is the watch that all the fucking cool guys had.
Damn.
You know.
Yeah. Crazy. Dude.
And so yeah. So then the mortgage industry collapses.
I wanted to touch on something because we're like, I'm gonna rewind back a little bit, but you know, when you were, you know, traveling the States with the band, and then, you know, things went to shit and you had to, you know, basically do a 180 and switch kind of like your profession at that point, you know, that kind of happens with skateboarders is like they'll get like sponsored and they'll turn professional or maybe not turn professional, but there comes a point where like things don't work out. And then now they're kind of just thrown into wild. And kind of like you, it's like you only knew one thing, which was, you know, playing the drums, traveling the States.
That was it, from fucking like 9 years old to fucking,
that's all you did.
17. I played drums and I fucked around with my friends and skateboarded, you know?
Yeah. So then when this huge like catastrophe thing happened where like now you have to figure out like what's the next step.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, for a lot of people that is like extremely like it's difficult, you know, to be able to push past that like old thought of like, I used to be this, how am I going to become something else, you know? And I just kind of wanted to, you know, highlight that real quick and just be like, you know, what kind of helped you? Like, you know, obviously your stepmom had that situation, but how were you able to kind of just step up and be like, you know, like, I'm just going to try this right now?
I'm the oldest of 6. I'm 18 years older than my youngest brother, Jagger, who you know, works for us.
Yep.
Crushes at NADC Burger.
Oh yeah.
I am 3 years older than my than Chelsea, who you know, who does all of our books for the company.
Family.
I'm 7 years older than Lennon and Melina.
Okay.
Do you know Lennon? Have you met him?
I don't think I've met Lennon.
Worked with us for like 8 or 9 years, all the way from dishwasher at 18 to the head chef at Sushi Montecito and was behind the counter when we got our first Michelin star.
So sick.
Now he's got his own Michelin star restaurant, Silver's Omakase.
He does it on a boat, right? Or no?
No.
Am I tripping?
That'd be sick.
I thought it was like on a boat concept.
No. It's in the Funk Zone in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
So
sick.
Anyone who's gonna eat sushi in Santa Barbara, go to his spot. It's it's ridiculous. But so I'm 3 years older, 7 years older. Well, actually 3 years older, 4 years older. My brother Matt. So 3 years older, 4 years older, 7 years older, 18 years older.
Mm-hmm.
Parents split when I was, I want to say 7.
Okay.
So I have had to be strong and be the leader from my clan, basically.
Yeah, you're basically the oldest.
Yeah.
So you have to like kind of make a impression or set an example.
And I've always felt the responsibility that I need. And
That's awesome.
You look today, my entire family works in the company.
Yeah.
The only ones who don't have graduated past working in the fucking company,
For sure.
To doing their own company.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've always had this sense of responsibility, and if you're responsible, as parents know, when you're responsible, you have to do the impossible, and you have to make the impossible look like it's not actually hard for you or like hurtful to you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think part of that, just like when I come to this point and it's like, what the fuck am I going to do? There's definitely crying yourself to sleep. There's definitely like my life is over, because you're human and you have those thoughts. And then you go, yeah, but it's not, because remember last time something like there's that statement that like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 2 years old, your dog gets taken away, and that's life-ending chaos, right? And now I can, deal with finding out that someone stole $100,000 and it doesn't,
You're just like,
my
dog got taken away from me when I was 2. That hurt more.
But so I think just I had the mindset of like, you're gonna figure it out.
I always say like, this is just one of the many battles that you're gonna get into. Like this is a war, right?
Yeah.
Like some battles you're gonna lose, some battles you're gonna win. But as long as you keep stepping forward and giving it all that you got, like you're gonna win the war.
And in my origin story, we're still only at 17 years old. We got 20 more years, and we're actually got hard. But that's the thing, is like it hurt just as much to quit the band and not know what to do,
for sure,
as it did the very first time I had to announce to the LA Times I was closing my first restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It hurt just as it didn't hurt any more to close that restaurant than it did to quit that band.
Mm-hmm.
But I could quit a band I could have quit a band 10 years later and it wouldn't have hurt as much because I'd already done that in my life.
Yeah. You already went through it.
Yeah. So, completely, but then again, boom, I'm really good at this thing, and the industry crashes. Mm-hmm. I lose my job. And now it's like, fuck, what am I going to do? I went back to playing drums, started a couple other bands, and spent the next 2 or 3 years, probably about 2 years, actually about 2 or 3 years, touring the country again, playing music.
So you always had a love for it, even though you were working for this other thing. You were still kind of like, were you still practicing at all, or were you just?
So I was actually in a band while I was working there as well.
Okay.
Called Last of the Believers.
Okay.
It was like a super group with me. I don't know why I was in it. Again, it was another situation where here I am at like 18 years old, and I've got the guitar player from Rise Against. I've got the bass player from Ignite.
Damn.
I've got all these fucking.
Let's go.
I've got all these fucking dudes in their like late 30s who are like famous in the fucking hardcore scene, and then you've got me.
Yeah, that's so sick, man.
And it's funny, you look at old pictures and it's like all these grown adults and then this little kid. So I was always playing. I need to play music. I need to be, it's the one thing that on a daily basis today I think about. I want to start a band. I want to be in a band.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's like your passion. It's like in your heart.
Yeah. And so anyways, industry crashes and I go back to playing music, and I get a job working at fucking Baskin Robbins, and I work at Jamba Juice and whatever. And my again, I've always been obsessed with food. and I've specifically been obsessed with sushi. 5 years old is when sushi became officially my favorite food. 7 years old is when omakase became officially my favorite way to eat sushi.
Wow.
And at 13, I bought my first book on making sushi and started making sushi at home. And so actually if we rewind to when I told my parents I'm going to stop going to school, I told them if the band doesn't work out, I'm going to go to sushi school. Okay. That was my backup plan.
Those are your two choices.
Yeah. I want to be a fucking rock star. I tell everyone today, I knew when I was 13, I want to be a sushi chef. That was one of the things that I wanted to be.
For sure.
That was just the first time that I was like, maybe I'll do this when I grow up. But it was always rock star first. And so, in between tours, I'm working at Jamba Juice. Go on tour, I'm working at fucking Baskin Robbins. Go on tour, working at the stupid jobs. And so my godmother owned a catering company while I was growing up.
Okay.
And so I'm just cooking at home. I love food. I love restaurants. I'm always cooking at home. I'm obsessed with the Food Network, all that kind of stuff. I'm probably 18. I'm 18 at this point. Maybe 19. I can't remember. No, it must be 18 because I'm about to be 20. Yeah. 18. And I'm talking with my mom and she's like, you should invite your Aunt Lisa over or you should go to Aunt Lisa and see if you can work for her. She has a catering company.
For a catering company?
And so I had a better idea. I didn't want to ask her for a job. Instead, I invited her over for dinner and I cooked.
Sick.
And after dinner was over, I asked her for a job.
That's dope.
And she said,
show her your skills real quick.
Yeah, and I'll never forget. I made a filet mignon that I butterflied and stuffed with grilled shrimp.
Oh, let's go.
And I finished it with the grilled shrimp. I mean, that might be the dish that started my entire fucking career.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I tell her, and true to like, again, integrity is huge, and nepotism is not a thing for me. Of course, having her as my godmother was someone I could go to, but her response was, I'll introduce you to my chef, but I can't promise anything. My chef runs her kitchen. It's not like, oh, of course you get to have a job.
Yeah, no.
So I show up, again, 18-year-old kid, here's all these fucking, French trained, adult chefs.
Adults, yep.
And the chef, Karina Conti, she was like, all right, we sit down for 10 minutes, as an interview. She asked me questions like, what do you want? And I was like, she's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I want to be a chef. And she's like, okay, like, what are your goals? And I said, I want to be the best. One day I want to have a restaurant and I want to be the best chef in the world. Mm-hmm. She goes, okay. We talked for a little bit and she goes, okay, come to the kitchen with me. And she goes, it's 1:00. Family meal's at 2 p.m. I need you to cook a protein, a salad, a this, a that. I need it in 1 hour to feed 12 people.
Right. Woof.
This is
right on the spot.
This is your interview.
Wow.
She's like, here's the kitchen. There's the pantry. There's the refrigerator. I'll see you in an hour.
Damn.
I don't remember what I cooked.
And you have no like previous training neither.
I'd never been in a professional kitchen. Never.
Insane.
Never.
Dude.
So I make a fucking, I was really big into salad dressings back then. So I made a salad with a beautiful dressing. I probably cooked some meats. I don't know. Anyway, afterwards she sits me down and goes, I don't think you're ready to be a cook, but you can be a dishwasher. And she said, and I said, well, I'm really looking to be a cook. And she goes, look, if you want to be the best, you have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And here's the deal I'll make you. Every time the dish pit is empty, you can leave the dish pit and come over and cook with us. You can start prepping. But the second there's anything in the dish pit, that's your main priority. And so nobody could clean dishes faster than I could. Right? That dish pit was
you wanted to get over there.
Because I wanted to get over there.
Yeah,
so I just never fucking stopped. And eventually I worked my way into the prep cook. And, and then I worked my way into, there wasn't really a line because it was catering, but like actually cooking, now I'm not just chopping onions. Now I'm actually like searing chicken breasts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then she was basically after a while. So then I got a job at a sushi restaurant. Okay. In Hollywood, and not making sushi because they wouldn't let me. I was in the kitchen. I was like searing like crispy rice and shit like that.
Okay.
And then that place went out of business. And
did you get to like mess with sushi like after hours or anything like that?
I got to take like spicy tuna roll, like spicy tuna mix, and put it on top of the crispy rice. I got to fry wontons and like just again,
not the actual stuff.
I didn't get to form sushi. I didn't I wanted to, but they're not going to have some 18-year-old white kid fucking at the sushi bar, behind the counter.
For sure.
Especially not back then.
Yeah, at that time.
And anyway, so eventually, I'm working both those jobs, and eventually she comes and goes, "Hey, I think it's time for you to move on." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I have a friend, Neil Fraser, who was a famous chef in LA.
Okay.
Had a restaurant called Grace, had a restaurant called BLD.
BLD, it's like a breakfast restaurant, right?
Yeah, on
I've
Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like, she's like, I'm gonna introduce you to Neil and see if he'll, he had just won. I think he had just won Iron Chef.
Sick.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
So I go and meet him, and I get hired to work breakfast at BLD.
Rad,
and I'm
dude.
like, I don't want to make breakfast, but Chef Karina had told me, here's what you're gonna do. Okay, if you really want to be what you want to be. You can't just go work at the restaurant you want to emulate. You have to learn everything.
Mm-hmm.
Never stay anywhere for more than a year, because if you haven't learned it in a year, you're not going to. And you need to learn every single type of cuisine. And every restaurant you go to, you need to pick the things that you like and pick the things you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Because one day when you open your restaurant, you'll be able to empty out your pockets and be like, here's all the things I like. Here's all the things I'm never going to do. But now, I'm now working at BLD, fucking, 500 person, brunches, doing pancakes, 7 different fucking eggs, and now I'm a fucking line cook. I got a fucking bandana on. I'm fucking, I'm getting yelled at. I'm crying in the fucking walk-in. I just sort of kept going up and eventually, and again, I'm still going, and then I'm going on tour and I'm coming back and so eventually, I got to a point where I was like, I think I'm going to go to culinary school.
Okay.
And when I did, I was in 3 bands at the time, and I quit all 3 bands to go to culinary school.
Wow. I wanted to go back real quick. So you're saying crying in the bathroom, right? I think
walk-in.
In the walk-in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you've mentioned it before on one of the other shows. Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Like just kind
what crying in the walk-in is like?
Yeah. Or just like, like what happened to where, you're actually balling out in the...
Yeah. So this specific time that I'm thinking about,
Okay.
I had a chef, I guess I won't say his name just so nobody,
For sure.
wants to give him shit or whatever, but this is what it was like back then.
Yeah. Different times, right?
Yeah. And again, the next time something like this occurred, it barely fucking fazed me.
Mm-hmm.
You build calluses. But the first time that I had a chef who I respected come over and scream in my face and call me a piece of shit and question whether or not I was good enough and, why is your station fucking messy? Why are you behind? Why this? Why that? And he's right. You just fucking... It
hurts.
You melt. It just, and it's like, get the fuck off my line and go fucking clean yourself up. And when you're done fucking crying, you come back.
Crazy.
I mean, that's just what it is.
It's a very high, like, I don't know if all the listeners know how wild it is in kitchens, because I was never in kitchens before we opened up NADC Burger, so just being in that atmosphere, it's very like high stakes, high energy, like stress levels. It's crazy. And especially during like peak hours where there's a lot of people in line, there's tickets everywhere, and like you just have to work efficiently and like communicate. Like the intensity is high. Like it's wild in there.
It truly is. And, but again, I moved from there to the,
so you're going to culinary school now.
Yes, culinary school.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
So I quit all 3 bands that I'm in, and I go to culinary school. I enroll in culinary school because I'm under the impression. So at this point, I've been cooking now for about 3 years. I've been
and basically self-taught, or just from the chefs there.
Exactly. I know how fucking Ramon showed me how to fucking do it, but I want to know. I thought I was enrolling in like a university of food.
Yeah, like there's only one way to do everything.
Well, I want to know what happens when salt hits the meat. I want to know why to use it. Why is 350 and 375 two different temperatures? You know, what happens differently? I want to learn all that stuff. So I enroll in culinary school, and it's the biggest fucking joke. I end up dropping out after like 2 months, and there's 2 reasons why I drop out. That's not true. I think I was there for like 5 months. But there's 2 reasons I drop out. One, they have a annual competition called the President's Cup.
Okay.
And it is chef instructors and alumni who are all competing in like a mystery box, like 2-hour cook-off, like, you know,
like a food network kind of
exactly
thing.
Yeah. You got to do a 4-course menu. The only way you can be a current student and compete is if you have an instructor who like nominates you.
Okay.
So I'm in my very first class. I get nominated, I compete, and I win.
Okay. Sick.
So right away I go, if I'm beating the teachers,
yeah. What am I doing?
You know, that's not why I quit though. Why I quit was I was in an egg class, right? A breakfast class. And they had a very strict rule. If you miss 2 days in a semester, you fail. One of my chefs, because while I was in culinary school, I still had a full-time job. I was working at the Viceroy Hotel in Santa Monica. I'm going to school from 6 a.m. to noon, and then I'm working. I was supposed to clock in at 3:30, but I would drive straight there, and I would sleep in my car for an hour, and I would get there 2 hours before my shift starts, and then I would clock in at 3:30, and then I would work till midnight, and I would drive back to the school, sleep in my car, and then go to school.
Wow.
And so one of my chefs is like, hey, I'm doing my birthday at the French Laundry, you know, #1 restaurant in America, most important chef of our generation. And I got invited. It was going to require me to miss 2 days of school. We were going to be in the private dining room, the whole deal. So I go to the instructor and I go, hey, you know, I have to miss 2 days. I was invited for this thing. And the instructor goes, unfortunately, you know, I'd have to fail you. And I go, look, the days I'm going to miss is eggs. I worked at BLD. I worked the egg station for 400 cover brunches.
Yeah.
I understand that I'm going to miss poaching eggs, but motherfucker, I'd poach like 900 a weekend. Of course, I didn't say motherfucker, but like,
but still.
And they're like, unfortunately, we can't. And I was like, this is not like.
Yeah. That's
so I was like, who can I talk to? And they're like, well, you can talk to the dean. So I go to the dean and I go, I should be getting extra credit for going and dining at the French Laundry with real chefs.
Yeah, this is epic.
And they're like, rules are rules. And I go, well, fuck you and fuck your rules and fuck your school. And I quit.
That's just crazy. You know, it's just kind of like I mean, you know, who knows what they were thinking at that time, but I feel like
they ended up getting class action lawsuit because they were I mean, it was a whole fucking thing.
Okay.
And I believe they lost. And I actually got approached to be a part of the class action lawsuit because even though I dropped out, they still charged me full tuition.
Oh, okay.
But
wild.
I didn't. That's not how you make money. It's not for me. So I didn't join the class action. I probably would have got all my money back, like $20,000. It took me fucking decades to fucking pay off student loans, you know, for a school I didn't go to and didn't fucking get anything from.
So you go to this dinner, you drop out of culinary school. How do you start your own kind of restaurant? You know, you have this like empire now, right? So like,
yeah, I mean, so at this point, I'm probably 20, right? And I didn't open my first restaurant till I was 25 or 6. I can't remember. I think it's 25. Yeah, because it's 12 years old and I'm 37 right now. Or I'm about to be 30. Anyway, 25, 26. So I still got another 5-6 years worth of working my way up the ranks. So here's my thought, my thought was, so I drop out of school, and so I just get a second job.
Yeah.
Right. Now, while I was in school, I had this idea. Everybody, it's not impressive to open a restaurant in your mid-30s, right? Because you put in your time. You've been doing it for 10 years now. Now it's your time. But it's impressive to open it in your mid-20s.
Okay.
That's what I thought. And so I thought, well, what's the difference between 25 and 35? 10 years, right?
10 years is a long time.
So I'm 20 right now. I was like, what if I just get 2 full-time jobs? I'll get 2 years experience in every year. And 5 years from now, I'll have 10 years experience. And so
interesting way to think about it.
Well, so I went to school in the morning. I went to the restaurant at night. And on Saturdays and Sundays, from about 10 a.m. till 1 a.m., I went and worked for free at a 2 Michelin star restaurant.
Wild.
And that was my 7 days. That was my 7-day week for, a while. And then when I quit going to school, I then replaced school with another job and always just worked until I became, and at 21, I became a sous chef. I got my first sous chef job. And that was essentially, on the schedule, it said, Phillip, on all 7 days, said OP-CL, open to close.
Oh, wow.
So
you just did doubles every day.
7 a.m. I opened the door, and I send the team home around midnight.
Damn.
And I did that for a long time.
Insane.
And I did it so hard until one night, I literally finished service, took 2 steps, and collapsed.
Really?
Yeah, I had to get driven home that night.
Just no food or...
I was 21. Because I would leave the restaurant at midnight and not go home and go to sleep.
Yeah,
I'd leave the restaurant at midnight and go fucking party until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Sleep 2 hours.
Sleep 2 hours
go to work,
and fucking go to work.
Up. Yep.
Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah.
Eventually your body goes, hey, motherfucker, this is why not.
For sure.
And so I just, and so I would keep doing what Karina said. I'd stay at a place for a while, and then I would, learn everything, and then I would, I would move on. I left. So I was working at a restaurant called Stefan's at LA Farm. Famous celebrity chef Stefan Richter. I was his sous chef when I was 21. Then I got offered a job. I tried to get a sous chef at a 1 Michelin star restaurant called Hatfield's. I went in for the interview. They're like, we'll hire you as a line cook. And I go, fine, I'll take a step back. So I take a step back to become a line cook. And within about 6 months, I get promoted to sous chef.
Sick.
So now I'm the sous chef at a 1-star restaurant.
Damn.
21
okay.
years old.
Heavy.
And then about a year later, I get an opportunity to work at a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Chicago.
Okay.
But I got to take a step back down to line cook again. Fine.
And you're living in LA.
I'm living in LA, yeah.
So you're like, okay, now I got to make a big move.
So Margarita and I moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
So I could work at a restaurant called L2O, which had 3 Michelin stars.
And you were 22?
2010.
Okay.
I was born in 87. So what is that? I would have been 23?
23.
Yeah, 23. So now I'm a chef de partie.
That's a big life change to go from LA to Chicago.
Yeah, but it's sous chef for celebrity chef, chef de partie for 1 star, sous chef for 1 star, chef de partie for 3 star. It's still
You're still going
I'm
up
still going
on the
up.
ladder. Yep.
Was in Chicago for about a year or so. Margarita and I actually broke up while we were in Chicago. She moved back to LA.
No way.
Yeah, I actually, so the restaurant I was working at,
And now she's your wife.
and now she's my wife. The restaurant that I eventually started working at a restaurant called Park Grill.
Okay.
Do you know Park Grill?
I don't know Park Grill. I am from Chicago.
The bean sits on top of it.
Okay.
You know the giant restaurant in Millennium Park that has like the ice skating rink out front in the winter, and
what's funny is I never
go down there?
would go downtown. Like I'd go down there to skate,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you what restaurants are down there or anything.
So the reason I worked at Park Grill, and I would skip past this, but I think it's an interesting mindset thing. So I actually, before I took the job at Park Grill, I'd already accepted a position at a restaurant called Next. Do you know Next? Okay,
No.
you know Alinea. You've been there.
Yeah.
Alinea, the second restaurant they opened was called Next.
Okay.
And the concept was every 4 months they change the concept to the next concept.
Okay.
And so I get hired. I start training. I'm part of the R&D team. That's when I got to spend some time in the kitchen at Alinea and work some services. And while I'm on this team, I get a call from a resume I'd sent in prior to this place called Park Grill. Now, Park Grill has like 600 seats.
Big restaurant.
Yeah, Next has like 20 seats.
Yeah.
Right. And my station at working at Next is like, they're like, each cook gets one dish. So you're just responsible for one dish start to finish. You make that one dish, and in 4 months you switch your dish.
Okay.
At first I was like, holy fuck, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I started thinking, and I was like, you got to learn that I have an opportunity.
Do more, right?
I have an opportunity to be a sous chef at a 500 seat restaurant where they have their own farm and they have, they're making their own stuff. And so I just thought, like, I already have the skill set of a Michelin star, one dish at a time tasting menu. I don't have the experience of managing a team of 20, and trying to make salmon with asparagus life altering, for people. And I had the opportunity to start putting dishes on the menu. And so I took that job. And the reason I got to this point of the story was, I'd get off at Wabash, and I'd walk past all the jewelry stores.
Okay.
And so after Marguerite and I broke up and she's back in LA, I kept walking past this jewelry store. I eventually went in there and bought a ring.
Damn.
And told her I was coming back for the weekend and we were like going to hang out. And I proposed to her when we weren't even together.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way. That's a risky move there, bro.
Yeah. And then
she obviously said yes.
She did. I was pretty nervous.
Nailed it. That's so sick, dude. Congrats, man.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to realize, like, for me, it was like I was so dedicated to what I was doing. She was so dedicated to what she was doing. We just,
you didn't have any time to like spend together, really, huh?
But you don't realize, until it's gone.
Yeah.
We broken up for like 4 or 5 months, and it was just like I am not as happy, being single or with other people as I am with her.
Well, that was like your special partner, you know what I mean?
Because her and I started, like, when we because we met in middle school, but when we like ran into each other when years, 22 and 20 or whatever it was, we moved in together like 3 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, so we hadn't seen each other in a decade, and then we re-meet at a party, and we're living together 3 days later.
Crazy.
And then like 8 months later, we're in Chicago together. Those numbers can't be right because I think we were together a little bit longer before. No, it might be right because I proposed. We didn't get married for another year or so.
Yeah.
So now I'm back in LA, no job, and I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna
do?
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
There we go, right back to that same place of like, all right, do you just take the L, or what do you do from here?
Well, it wasn't so much an L as it was like I'm back. I'm burnt the fuck out. I was doing catering jobs. I had to have money, so
you had some stuff going on.
I was doing catering, whatever, and I was like, but what am I gonna do?
Like ultimately, with what are you gonna set up for your future? What are you gonna get going?
Yeah, and so what happened was I through catering and doing some other stuff, I met this person who tried some of my food and was like, hey, my friend is consulting at this restaurant, meet them. And they're like, hey, we need a chef. And I was like, okay, I'll be the chef. And I got to write the menu, and the whole thing was, so now I have my first executive chef job.
That's super rad, dude.
In probably December of 2011. I get my first executive chef job. So now I'm 24, something like that. And at the restaurant, there's no pastry chef. So I write a menu. Margarita talks shit about it. I go, well, if you can fucking do it better, then you fucking do it.
Yeah.
And she wrote a menu and she prepped it out, and it was fucking, to this day, some of the best dishes she's ever made.
Damn.
I go to the owner and I'm like, I want to hire, her as a pastry chef. And he goes, there's no budget. And I go, well, what if I split my salary with her?
Rad.
My salary, by the way, was $29,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
That was my first executive chef job. So her and I split $29K, and she's the pastry chef and I'm the head chef.
Damn, that's super cool of you for doing that as well.
I think
you know what I mean?
we were
It's
either
like,
married or we were definitely engaged. So like,
you're like our money is
the money is the same whether she comes to work or she doesn't.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So let's do this together and let's crush it.
And she was at that time. She was like, I mean, she was cooking, but she was doing commercials and stuff. And so you do 2 commercials a year, you make fucking 50 grand or whatever. And so now we're running this restaurant, and the restaurant's winning awards. It's winning all this stuff. And while I'm there, this guy comes up who's a regular and goes, "Hey, I love what you did with the restaurant. You kept the soul there, but you completely changed everything about it." He's like, "I have a little coffee shop in Hollywood. It's got a full kitchen, and I'd like to hire you to come and consult, revamp my menu, train my staff." And I go, I'll come check it out. So I go and check it out, and he's like, at the end of the day, he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "I'll do it." And he goes, "Well, we haven't talked about compensation." And I go, he goes, what do you want for it? And I said, "Well, here's what I want. You don't have to pay me $1. I'm going to do this for free. I will work here. I will be with your team. I will train them. I will write your menu. Every quarter, I'll give you a new menu. But instead of money, I want the space after 4 p.m. Your coffee shop closes at 4 p.m. At 5:30, I want to open a fine dining restaurant."
And is this just a thought that just popped in your head and you're like, I'm going to run with this? Or was this something that you kind of like...
Pop-ups and weird stuff like that was just starting to like, get in vogue. And so I had been thinking like, how do I start my own restaurant? Because
then this just kind of,
presented itself.
Yeah.
And so I've always approached, I think outside the box.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So I'm like, because about a week prior, the owner of the place I was the chef at came and he's like, "Hey, my girlfriend just got back from from Miami, and so she really wants you to put ceviche with plantain chips on the menu." And I'm like, "No." Like, I'm doing fucking dope shit here. I'm not good. And he's like, "Well, it's my fucking restaurant, so yes, you are." And I said to myself, I go, "No problem." I say to myself, "Yeah, I'm never working for anyone ever again because I need to do my thing." So this was a perfect opportunity. So we open, I do leave the restaurant, and we open Scratch Bar.
Yeah.
And the reason it's called Scratch Bar is I couldn't come up with a better name.
Wow.
There's a bar right around the kitchen where everyone would sit, and I wouldn't serve anything I don't make from scratch. Scratch Bar.
Perfect. Yeah, makes sense. Right.
Tasting menu only, and
cooked on a hearth, right?
No, not this. I'm cooked in a fucking induction burners in a coffee shop. This is in a coffee shop.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we open. Boom, we get fucking, the Gayo Guide, best bite of the year, and we're getting all these accolades, and
so sick.
We're getting a great Zagat score. It's I'm a 24, 25-year-old kid who's just like obsessed with Michelin star, like just tinkering.
Well, you're passionate, and from your origin story, what it sounds like is you've put in a lot of the groundwork. You worked at like all these different restaurants and like put the things you like in one pocket, put the things you don't like in the other pocket, and you have like a lot of experience, and what crushes and what doesn't crush.
But what comes with that and what comes with immaturity is stubbornness and aggression and anger, and which I'm better at now. But about 6 weeks or 8 weeks into this restaurant, it was never supposed to be a pop-up. It was supposed to be a restaurant.
Okay.
Literally, like the sign turns over and it's a different place. It was a cool new concept.
Yeah.
Coffee shop in the morning, fine dining restaurant at night, beautiful tableware, like legit.
I've always thought about that, but I didn't know it was real.
Well, it was 2012. I think I did it.
Sick.
And so what happens is about a month or two in, the owner comes up to me and goes, "Hey," because we were only open 4 days a week, I think.
Okay.
For dinner. He goes, "I think I'd like you to focus more on the morning stuff, and I want you to go down to just 2 nights a week for Scratch Bar." And I go, no, that's not our fucking deal. That conversation occurred on a Saturday night after service. We were closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. When I left that night, I left by telling him to go fuck himself. Now we're sold out the next week, and I now am leaving the restaurant with no restaurant for next week.
Yeah.
Because
which isn't good.
Which nowadays I could have figured out how we'll we'll smooth it out, and I'll satisfy you. Look, maybe we'll part ways, but let's do it. That was just
let's do it like adults and figure it out.
Well, I wasn't an adult,
Yeah, for sure. You're still 24, so
no, no, this is Scratch Bar, so I was 25.
25, yeah.
Yeah, but still, fucking 25.
Yeah.
And so that night, I leave the restaurant and I'm with my team, and my team was fucking my best friends, right? It was a dude I played music with since I was fucking 12, was my chef de cuisine.
Sick.
It was the dude that I went to culinary school with, and I ran it like a band. We were everything was a band, right? And so they're like, what's going on? I'm like, we're fucking out. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. But they're like, well, we have reservations on Wednesday. I'm like, I know. We'll figure it out. And they go, what do you mean? And I go, I don't know, but we'll fucking figure it out. I remember going home, and I remember crying in the fucking shower and drinking beer in the shower and fucking thinking, what can we possibly do?
Yeah, all hope is lost.
Completely. How the fuck am I going to find a restaurant by Wednesday?
For sure.
How am I going to find a restaurant by Wednesday? How do you do that? Marguerite and I decided to gut our apartment.
Wow.
Dennis,
yeah,
my father-in-law, who now builds all our restaurants,
the best,
built me a chef's counter table that butted up to my apartment kitchen.
And this is all by Wednesday?
Yeah. We went on Craigslist. We found free tables and chairs. And we were able to do 45 covers a night.
Wow!
Out of my one-bedroom apartment on the corner of on Crescent Heights between Sunset and Santa Monica.
Damn!
And I had one of my cooks in a fucking orange vest, parking your car with a fucking permit, and then letting you into the building. And
no way! Dude.
Yeah, because
insane. You made it happen.
I didn't know how I would do it, but I knew it was impossible to not get it done. It wasn't an option
to fail.
It just admitting defeat wasn't an option for me.
That's the not a damn chance lifestyle right there, dude.
And,
that's insane, dude.
And so in doing this, by the second week, there's this dude from London. He comes and eats there, and he's like,
you kept the same name basically, and
Scratch Bar.
We're like, hey, you hit up the reservations. You're like, hey, your
new
dinner's
address.
not going to be over.
New address. We're not in a coffee shop. We're in a fucking apartment.
Crazy. Okay.
I wonder if there's pictures or videos from back then.
Yeah, I want to see these.
No one really was taking pictures back then. It wasn't like blogging days yet, so they got to exist.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see.
So week 2, this guy comes in. He's like, I'm from London. I haven't felt energy like this since the punk rock scene in the 80s in fucking London, like this sort of underground DIY, he's like, if you are interested, I own a restaurant on the why am I forgetting the fucking name? On Restaurant Row on La Cienega.
Okay.
On La Cienega. Right next door to Matsuhisa, right across from Lowry's, where the Stinking Roses. He goes,
I lived right there for a while.
Yeah, so he goes, I own a restaurant, and it's currently not open. I don't have a chef or a team. It's empty.
Okay.
If you want to go 50-50, you can move out of your apartment and into my restaurant.
Wow. And it just had everything.
It's a fucking restaurant.
Just
beautiful restaurant.
Vacant, chilling.
Yeah. I had to go fucking put some shit on the walls to make it look cool. But that's it.
Damn.
So we call the reservations for the next week and go, hey, new address.
Sick.
And now I have a tandem parking spot with Nobu Matsuhisa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking legendary chef is now so I've gone from coffee shop to my apartment to now I have a restaurant. It's a big fucking deal. So that's all going great for a while. We open our second restaurant together. Then I find out that I go off to do Top Chef, and while you're on that, you're fully sequestered for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
You can't. if your wife calls and says something's wrong, you can't pick up the phone.
Really?
Like you don't know anything that's going on outside. I get out, and it turns out that even though sales were really good while I was gone, no vendors had been paid and no staff had been paid for those 6 weeks. And I found this out, confronted him, and again, in that confrontation, we're out.
Yeah.
And I had to.
Well, there's kind of like not a good way to end that conversation.
Well, it ended up, being like I had to go to the fucking court and get a restraining order because every time money would come into the account, every Monday morning when we get weekend sales, as soon as it would hit the account, he'd transfer it out of our account into his account.
Yeah, that's not
and
cool.
The court had to get involved, and that's when I learned that all the paperwork I had signed saying that I'm a 50% owner, he never turned into the government. However, he had me sign all the personal guarantees for everything. So every vendor who hadn't gotten paid, the IRS, everybody.
It all came to you.
Yes.
Wow.
So IRS is like, you owe me $30,000.
There are some real nasty people in this world. You know what I mean? Like, it's people, greed. It's a disease, you know?
Again, now I have to tell the LA Times that my semi-award-winning, brand new, flagship restaurant
That's blowing up.
And I can't tell them why. I can't go and say any of this. So I just announce I'm closing the restaurant. And that I will reopen at a later date. And now now we had two restaurants. We also had the Gathering Swine in the Valley. The Gathering Swine, I actually was an actual I was made an owner of that one. So I closed Scratch Bar. We keep Gathering Swine open, and I call up I call up the IRS. I call up all the purveyors. I'm like, look, here's what happened. I will pay you back. And I kept the restaurant open until every single person got paid back, and then I closed the restaurant. And
that's very that's disheartening.
Yeah,
that like makes me mad. You know what I mean?
It was the hardest. I mean, it was, again, I find myself in the shower with the beer crying. Like, how am I going to? Because the day that it happened and I found out and I confronted him and it turned out to be real, I didn't close the restaurant I did close the restaurant that night. I didn't announce it. I just called the reservations like, hey, the plumbing problem, And then after a couple of days, I was like, I have to say something.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the hardest things. Like it was like announcing that your child had passed away.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
This was like your first actual restaurant too, your first concept.
And it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm no longer cooking in my apartment. It's another thing to be like, I went out on Restaurant Row in front of the fucking world and I failed.
Yeah.
And now the whole world is going to know I failed a year and a half in.
And you can't really
I can't tell them why.
I
can't tell them why.
Yeah.
And I've actually never told this story publicly ever. And again, we're not even we're still at beginner level of the shit.
I feel like we could do so many episodes together to really dig into this. You know what I mean? It's insane, man.
Yeah.
So you had your other restaurant going, and was this what kind of turned into your sushi and everything?
No. So check this out. Every time a door closes, a new one opens. You just don't know what, when, how, or why.
You just
right?
manifest it.
Yep.
Right. Stay positive.
Well, it's hard to stay positive, but it's you don't have to be positive to also realize that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Right? You can still be. Actually, it's interesting. I thought about this in the shower the other day. It's a little quote I came up with. The only thing. Things I always talk with Marguerite about optimism versus you always hear I'm a realist, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that trumps realism, there's only two things: optimism and pessimism.
Okay.
The reality of this sitting here, the only thing that changes this reality is whether I look at it optimistically or pessimistically. If I don't look at it either way, I just look at it as realistic. Yeah. But I can be really excited to drink that. I can be really bummed to drink that. Or I can just drink that.
Yeah.
right? And so that's sort of the look, the mindset that I've finally put it into words. But so what happened was, about a week after I shut down the restaurant, actually the day I announced I shut down the restaurant, I am working service at my other restaurant, and my eyes are bloodshot, right?
Oh yeah, you're destroyed.
One of my old regulars from there, who had been coming in for years, who would always get drunk and be like, "This is the best restaurant in the world." It's like, "One day, Phillip, when I retire, you and me, we'll go all the way. We'll partner together." He's rich, businessman. He comes in for lunch that day, and he's like, "Phillip, can I talk to you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "I retired today. Do you want to open a restaurant together?"
Wow.
And I literally start crying.
For sure, dude.
He's like, "What happened?" I go,
I almost started crying right there.
I go, "Dude, you don't understand. You don't understand." And I tell him the whole fucking story.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
And
it's like perfect timing.
And so that's when, with him as my new 50% partner, we opened Scratch Bar with the hearth, the whole deal in Encino, where it sits today. This is now, we opened that restaurant December 2nd, 2015.
Okay.
So that restaurant has been there now for 10 years.
Yeah.
And so now I have Scratch. Now I'm out of that world with this other guy. Those LLCs have been paid off and dissolved. And now it's the start of something new.
Yeah.
Right? And
fresh.
And he and I do really good with Scratch Bar. We take over the lease next door. We open our second restaurant. We take over the lease next door. We open our third restaurant. We get approached by the brothers who own who own the Montecito Inn in Montecito about opening restaurants, in their hotel. And then he comes and goes, because the idea about business partners is like, I'm going to put it for my 50%. I'm going to fucking make this the best restaurant in the world. For your 50%, you pay for it.
Yeah.
You pay for it and you run the business side.
Like an investor type of 50-50.
But not silent, like a partner.
Yeah.
And so as we're growing and needing more money, he decides to go sell out some of his shares to raise more money so that we can do more things. He brings in a partner, and they end up, suing each other and bullshit, whatever. He ends up leaving. The new partner buys him out. So now I have a new 50% partner.
So you have a new...
but I've got to go through all this fucking, drama and fucking bullshit. And
it's like some dude you don't really know, right?
I mean,
a little bit here and there, right?
And then from there, we opened 3 restaurants in Montecito, and then 2 of them have to close.
Okay.
So I've got to announce that 2 restaurants are closing, and I can't explain why. And then, actually, all 3 restaurants closed, but we kept one of the spaces and turned it into Sushi by Scratch restaurants.
Sick.
Back then, it was called Sushi Bar.
Yeah.
Which then we'll start getting into the meat and potatoes, the fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That I've had to fucking deal with.
Recently, right?
I mean, in the last 5 years. Yeah. And so, so now we have these restaurants, and the pandemic happens, right? Shut everything down. All my bank accounts are at $0.
Did all these kind of open up right before the pandemic, basically?
Montecito opened up in 2018. So
Okay.
2 years. It was open for 2 years before.
Yeah.
And then everything in Encino was 2015 through 2017 were openings.
Yeah, because it seemed like the pandemic really affected the West Coast, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what happened was I went from having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 restaurants to 0 overnight.
Wow.
And what do you do with the staff?
Yeah. This is how they pay for their livelihood, their rent.
The restaurant runs paycheck. The company runs paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
We need a good weekend to cover payroll every week. We're not sitting there on money. And so, we just,
I feel like those little ins and outs of the restaurant industry, they're not that many people know about that kind of stuff,
very few chefs own their own restaurants. Very few chefs who are partners own more than a couple of points. It's usually owned by doctors, lawyers, bankers. and they hire him chefs. Maybe they'll give him a point or two, but it's very uncommon for a chef to own anything above 50%, and it's very uncommon for them to own 100%. And essentially, so pandemic happens. All of my family works for the company. No one has money anymore. I'm on fucking unemployment. And then it's like open, close, open, stand on one fucking foot. We got we're wearing, we're literally, there's a picture. We should find a picture of this, but there's literally a picture of like me making sushi in a welder's helmet, covered with saran, with fucking plexiglass, and handing it through like you're at the fucking bank,
Insane, dude.
because we're just doing whatever we could to keep it alive.
Any safety precautions that they're putting on, or
again, I you know me, I'm the least political person there is,
for sure, and I don't
claim to know anything about science or health or anything, so I just
do what they say.
I just do exactly what they say. Until, so then in December of 2020, they shut down outdoor dining again. We go into, we come to Austin to I mean, the story, so I'll sort of paraphrase, but, we come to Austin, do the pop-up. Pop-up goes insane. Rogan comes in, blows it up. Now we have the hardest reservation to get in the country. We got 26,000 people on the wait list. It's ridiculous.
And this is for your original concept sushi bar.
Yes. So yeah. Well, I guess not everyone at home knows the story, so I'll tell the story. I forget it's not just you and I talking here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably tens of people listening.
For sure.
So we've gone through all this stuff in LA. December 2020 rolls around. No more outdoor dining, and I take a poll of the team, and I go, who is willing to work? Now, back then, some people were still afraid. Some people didn't want to work. There were enough people that said, I'm willing. And I said, if there's enough of us, I will find us a state that lets us work, and I'll go do us a pop-up. I'll find us a pop-up. So I decide to come to Austin because Clayton lives here. He's a friend of mine, and he's gonna I have connections in Austin. I'd already done pop-ups in Austin in the past with Clayton,
and they're allowing dining,
and you're allowed to dine indoors.
Yes,
I mean, I'm just looking to I'll cook on the fucking moon. Just let me have a job so everyone can get paid.
Exactly.
Because at a certain point, like it started out for me as just like doing the art with my band, and I became the oldest sibling. I got to make sure my people get fed.
Well, now, as the owner of the company and the concept, it's like you have all these people that, you're basically liable for their lives, their livelihood, right? Like,
so we come out, and here's a great story that I don't think I've ever told you, about how we actually found the space that Sushi Bar ATX opened up in. It's another story of like me starting to cry and not seeing a way forward, and then all of a sudden, out of the fucking sky, an angel comes down.
Just appeared.
So, Clayton puts me in touch with Matt. Actually,
no way.
Clayton puts me in touch with Matt. Matt puts me in touch with his real estate guy. Back then, I had never met Matt in person.
For sure.
Funny how it all comes.
Brother Wolski.
Yeah. So, I'm in the days leading up to my flight out, I'm explaining, okay, I'm going to land at like 2 p.m. I need to see as many spaces as I can, and they have to be spaces that I can sign on site because I have to fly out at 11 a.m. the next morning. I only have like 18 hours, and then I have to open a week later. I don't have the money in my bank to keep my team alive longer than that.
Yeah.
So I fly out here. I meet this dude. He takes me to one spot. As we're leaving the second spot, I go, all right, so where are we going next? He goes, actually, I was only able to line up one spot today, but we can see something tomorrow. And I go, no, there is no tomorrow. I have to. And he goes, I'm so sorry. I have to go to a dinner. He leaves, and I walk, and I sit in my rental car, and I'm like, no, this. I call Marguerite. I'm like, I don't understand. It's not supposed to not work.
Yeah.
It's supposed to work. I don't understand.
Like you're set.
I'm like, well, I just know that if I go and try to do something and I don't give up, it will happen. How? I don't just fucking jump. But I'm like, fuck, it's now 5:30.
this
in a city I don't know. What am I gonna go start fucking knocking on restaurant doors?
Mm-hmm.
While I'm talking to her and I'm about to fucking break down, I get a text from an unknown number that says, "Hey, dude, about 5 different people texted me today your information. They said you might be looking for a space in Austin. I sell fish locally. Let me know when you're coming to Austin. I would love to show you around, see if I can help you."
Damn.
And I go, "Margarita, I got to go."
Mm-hmm.
So I call this number. His name's Adam Brick. He runs a local fish company called Minamoto, and I've been working with him now for fucking years. And I'm like, "Hey, this is going to sound crazy. I'm here for like 6 hours, and I got to find something." And he goes, "Where are you?" And I tell him, he goes, "Drive over to me, jump in my truck. I'll drive you around from restaurant to restaurant, introducing you to everybody until we find you something."
Damn. That is...
We go to like 5 spots, and everyone's like, no. It's now like 10 o'clock at night. And he goes, "There's one last place we can try. It's this little place called Bento Picnic."
Mm-hmm.
And Leanne, she's a chef owner. She owns this little house. It's a little, like, she has this little side room, maybe. So we come in and she's closed, but they're friends. And so she's like, "I got 10 minutes. I can talk to you real fast." And I just lay it on her. And she's like, "Okay, well, when would you want to do this?" And I go, "I need to open next week." And she's like, she goes, "I got to go. What time's your flight?" I said 11 a.m. She goes, "Can you meet me here for breakfast at 9 a.m.? And I'm like, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
So I meet her for breakfast, and over breakfast, we shake hands that I'm going to open in a week in her fucking side dining room.
Damn.
And again, it's like, it's so hard not to give up, especially like I was about to give up because I was like, it's
10.
fine. What am I going to do?
Yeah, for sure. And it's 10 p.m. last spot.
And but it always, it will work. If I could have given up, I could have not come to Austin at all and just given up and like just see what would happen. I could have not, kept being like, we got to try the next thing. I could have not called that number back because I was scared or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, we come out here. The team, we prep everything in LA. We fly out here and we land, and the next day we start serving. And we're supposed to be here for 5 weeks. 3 weeks into it, what happens? So we get here, we send out. We have a publicist in LA, reaches out to all the media in Austin, and all the media has the same answer: "We're not going to promote you."
Wow.
1, we don't think restaurants should be open, so we're not really promoting restaurants. And 2, we're not promoting outsiders. So good luck.
Crazy.
I still think that's why. Well, it doesn't matter. But so what we did is we sent out a mailing list
They
to
just
our.
kind of like blackballed you just because.
Well, 1, the media didn't think. Media tends to be very left leaning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not that it's political thing, but journalism tends to be more like during that time it was more like,
it was like don't go outside.
Yeah, don't
hang out with each other.
Yeah, all that stuff. Which
Yeah.
again, nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
The reality was the people who were writing for local magazines and local internet, whatever sites, subscribed to the "we should be shut down," not to the "we shouldn't be shut down."
Yeah.
So unfortunately, and then also, if they're going to promote anyone, they're promoting the restaurants who are currently here who are struggling, not these fucking California, fucking scabs or whatever. So we send out a newsletter saying like, "Hey, everybody, you know us. Please, if you have any friends in Austin, please send them our way. We're just trying to have jobs through Christmas so that we can be here for you to reopen and not go out of business."
Mm-hmm.
It turns out the first reservation ever made was made by Joe Rogan's wife.
No way.
Because her best friend is on our mailing list, and her favorite sushi restaurant is ours. And so it was the first reservation made, but it wasn't until the 3rd weekend.
Yeah.
So, we for the first week, we have some days that are like 0 people because like, how do you get the word out? By week 2, it started to pick up. By week 3, we had sold out weeks 3, 4, and 5.
Sick.
So it was like a fucking thing, right?
Yeah, like it built up.
It built up just organically. And Saturday night on the third week, in walks Joe Rogan. I thought he was the dude from Fear Factor. I didn't even know he had a podcast. But I was a huge Fear Factor fan, so like, fuck yes.
Yeah, it's so sick. Yeah.
And so he sits down in front of me. The restaurant only had 6 seats at this time. I'm wearing masks, gloves, the whole fucking deal. He's got his hat down. He's on a date with his wife. He's not there to fucking be seen or fucking talk or anything. But I can, you're sitting closer than this to me when we're making sushi. So I'm watching everyone's reactions so I can, interact.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him take bites going like, like a fucking, like someone just got knocked out in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
Couple sakes in, he starts asking me questions. Who's the chef here? Where's the Japanese dude? Finds out that it's me, and he's like, well, then what the fuck is your story?
Yeah.
Start talking. He's like, this really is like, this sushi is like I don't think I've ever had better sushi. He goes, towards the end of it, he goes, how do I eat this again? Because he knows it's a pop-up. And I go, unfortunately, we're completely sold out for the next 2 weeks. But next time you're in LA, I know you just moved here from LA, but I'm sure you'll go back.
Yeah.
And next time he goes, no, dude, he's like, fuck LA, you got to move here. I'm like, I have 5-6 restaurants I have to reopen. They're all going to reopen in like 3 weeks. And he goes, Phillip, you and I both know that California is not reopening in 3 weeks like they say. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. And he's like, and it turned out they opened like 6 months later, right?
Yeah.
He's like, just, I'll make you, how about this? Extend for 1 more month. Because it was like through January 31st, something the pop-up was going. And so he's like, just stay in February. And I was like, he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you agree right now, like don't fucking think about it, just say yes. If you agree, I will guarantee you're sold out.
Damn.
And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'll post about it. And any seats that don't sell, I'll pay for.
Wow.
And I go,
that's insane.
Fuck. You got deal, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right. He's like, stand there, takes a picture of me. He's like, give me all the socials. He's like, when can you open reservations? Can you do it right now? I'm like, dude, I'm making you sushi. I have gloves on. Like, I can't open them right now. I was like, I'll get off around 11:30 tonight. At midnight, I'll open up reservations. So at midnight, he goes on to this new website that I had to make between 11:30 and 12. He goes on. He makes himself 4 reservations for the month of February, and then he posts about it.
Damn.
He posts about it at like 12:30 in the morning on a Saturday in January. Within 4 minutes of his post, February is sold out.
Crazy.
We wake up the next morning, and there's 25,000 people on the wait list.
Whoo! Insane, dude.
And
that's insane.
And the crazy thing is, the night before, Friday night, before he came in, we didn't know he was coming in. On Friday, we had a wait list. We had 100 people on the wait list for the remaining of the thing. And the whole team, Sane, you remember Sane? He now has Toshikon?
No.
Okay. So Sane and Phil, who now has Hush, and Dan, Dan.
I know Phil and Dan, yeah.
Yeah. And Marguerite and I are all living in a fucking Airbnb together.
Okay.
Through the winter, right? And we're doing nights where it's like nobody. We go there and we set up and nobody shows up, right? And now this Friday night, the next 2 weeks are sold out with a wait list, and we go to fucking Whistler's where Golden Tiger is, and we party like there's fucking like we just did it. We fucking made it. We have, and I'm so grateful. Because the next day, when this thing blows up, I got to feel at least like we had something to do with it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And so what ends up happening is, well, Margie and I just never go home.
Yeah,
we never went back to LA, and it was like I was so moved. Obviously, I fucking owe. Joe hasn't had a birthday yet since then that he hasn't gotten a present. There's a Christmas present under the tree every year that says Joe on it, because he changed my life.
Yeah,
he changed my life.
That is so awesome that he did that for you guys,
And he did it because he wanted to eat it. He's like, how do I eat this more often?
your sushi is so damn good. You know what I mean? And
Well, that's how we became friends.
yeah,
Right?
over sushi. Yep.
I met Clayton across the counter from me.
Yep.
He's the godfather of my daughter. All of my friends, pretty much all my friends, unless we were friends from high school, like I met them across the counter from me. But so what ends up happening is we make a public announcement after like the second month that we extend, and I go, look, I'm so moved that like Austin was here for us in our darkest hour. I'm not shutting down this pop-up until every person on the wait list gets in.
Sick.
About a year later,
That's a lot of people.
there was 26,000 people on the wait list. The wait list had gotten longer, even though we had been open for a year.
So you had to stay another year, man.
Well, so here's what happened. During this time, the new partner who had bought out the other partner sold some of his shares to a private equity firm. So now I've got a private equity firm partner and this dude is a partner. And they come to me and they go, we want this restaurant. And
Private equity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they go, we want this one restaurant. We want this one location. And so we start talking and I don't want to do it. But it turns out if I basically give them this restaurant, so right now I'm 50% owner in all of my restaurants. 5 in LA, or 5 in California, 1 in Austin. If I let go of this one in Austin, I become 100% owner of all of my other restaurants. And after a long time thinking about it, I decided, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so we did. And now Margie and I become 100% owners of our company that we haven't had 100% of since 2013. It's now 2000.
Yeah.
It's been 7 years since we had 100% of our fucking company.
So it's all yours now.
All ours now. And I got 5 restaurants and they're all ours. And then I believe it was 14 days later, I believe it was on Christmas morning or Christmas Eve, I can't remember. We get a knock on the door and it's a person serving us court papers that our ex-partners who are now the new owners of Sushi Bar ATX are suing us for $15 million.
Wow. That's insane.
And Marguerite was pregnant at the time. It's fucking Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I can't remember. It was one of those. And now it's like, we're getting sued for $15 million. And there's a laundry list of just completely fake fucking accusations. All like just the most absurd.
This is the equity firm or whatever.
These are the dudes who used to be my partners who took Sushi Bar ATX.
Okay.
And so when
so they bought it from you and then they serve you papers.
Correct.
That's very strange.
Well, I'm going to speculate here for a minute. The speculation is based on information I was told, but the speculation is, so they have hundreds of millions of dollars behind them. Margaret and I share a salary of like $100K, you know, so we don't have a lot of money. And to litigate is going to cost $1 million. And it's basically brought to my attention that they're willing to drop everything if I give them my restaurants in California.
Strange. So they wanted to sell it to you, but then they want you to give them back.
At the end of the day, if I would agree, I would now end up with 0 restaurants. The other option is...
So it's just some weird game.
The other option is hire an attorney that we all know I can't afford and defend myself to the bitter end.
Yeah, and they basically will think they could just bleed you out at that point.
Well, that's how it works, right? If I eventually run out of money and can't defend myself, I lose, and then they can be like, well, we'll take those, and you don't have money to get, so we'll just take those. So I hire an attorney that I can't afford, and I rack up a fucking ridiculous bill over the next couple of years. And one of the reasons I have so many restaurants right now is I had to generate more revenue to fund the defense.
It's insane.
And I mean, again, but if I look back, every single thing I'm grateful for. This dude who fucking took all the money back in 2013 and didn't pay the bills nobody straight would have fucking given me a fucking restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it took a guy like that for me to get my first restaurant. You know what I mean? It took these dudes pushing me this hard for me to now I have 26 restaurants now. Right? And so, you know, every time that like, you know, and then obviously with, you know, I changed the name of all my restaurants to Sushi by Scratch Restaurants because I'm not trying to fucking associate.
For sure.
You know?
Split the ties.
Yeah, well, I mean, also that, and like, you know, I mean, Joe went afterwards and was like, dude, it is not fucking good. You know, a lot of people still to this day, fucking Chandler, who was supposed to be on the podcast, shouted us out on fucking on the TV show he's on. I'm going to Austin. I'm so excited to be going to Sushi Bar. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, wrong one.
I get tagged every single week.
With the wrong one.
Yeah. Every single week I get tagged. Because I for so long I was Sushi Bar.
Yeah.
And also nobody knows this story. I've never said this story publicly. In fact, there's a
thanks for sharing.
Well, you know
what I mean?
It's over now.
Yeah.
It's over now. And there's a very interesting when I was on Joe's podcast, there's a moment where he asks me about this kind of, and I freeze.
But you're also probably in the middle of it.
I was
right?
I was right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I freeze. And he goes, is everything okay? And I'm like, he goes, Jamie, he's like, do you want to shut this down? I go, no, just give me a second. And then after the podcast, I told him about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, like, I've never said it publicly before, but it's beyond us now. And, I mean,
just like another lesson learned about shitty people. You know, I mean, I don't know who they are, but
look,
it seems like a weird thing to do.
I have the opinion that everyone does the best job that they possibly can. Perhaps, I mean, hurt people,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't hurt people.
For sure.
I guess I'd have an excuse because I've been hurt, but like I
you
choose.
know how it feels. Like
you know, I believe in the golden rule,
mm-hmm.
right? I treat others the way I want to be treated. I don't want to be treated this way, so I don't treat other people like that. You know.
No, I love that, man. Yeah, I mean I think that's that's how everyone should live their life, or at least, you know, I suggest they live their life like that. You know, treat people how you want to be treated.
And so it's been just a fucking absolute tornado for fucking, you know, I'm now at year 20, you know, cooking, and like, you know, the last 3 years, like, and when I sold them Sushi Bar ATX, I signed a 3-year non-compete inside of Austin, which is why that just expired in December, which is why we're back downtown.
Yep.
Finally. And I feel like I'm finally, all the chapters are closed on everything. I don't have the fucking lawsuits looming over me. I still have a ridiculous amount of fucking debt to my attorney.
For sure.
But we preserved everything, and we went from, I mean, if you think about it, after I sold that restaurant, and nothing at that time was open in California. I had 0 restaurants open in January of 22. Today is February of 25, and we have 26 open restaurants.
Crazy.
And it is all thanks to those dudes fucking with me.
Yeah.
It's all thanks. Had they not lit that fire under me, I'd probably have 3 restaurants.
Sometimes a negative can be a positive, you know, and you used it to fuel, you know, your route.
Because I just thought all of the anger and frustration and bitter passion that this is bringing up in me, I can either turn to a bottle, or I can just channel that into being there's no greater in like vengeance than success.
For sure.
Right?
Being the best that you can be
instead
of just giving up. I feel like you and I can go on for days, because like this is just like the tip of the iceberg, and there's like so much more that we can get into. Usually you ask this question, but I'm going to ask you. Magic lamp on the table right now. What does the future hold for you? Like, what's up next? What do you got going on?
So 10 years from now, that's so hard because it could be one of two things. My daughter's almost 3. That it's super important to me. It's now like 2 days ago, I made a decision and I told Marguerite about it. I will not take phone calls or texts in front of her anymore.
Okay. That's a good one.
Now, it's not that I won't text or talk while I'm with her. It's that I will excuse myself and I will say, Dada's going to run to the store to buy some milk.
Go catch up over there, yeah.
And then I'll leave the house, get in my car, pull out of the driveway, and that's where I'll have my conversation. Because the other day, I was on the phone, and she's like, Dada, you want to play with me? And I was like, yes, baby, give me 1 second. She goes, no, come play with me. I said, baby, I just need 1 second. Let Dada finish work. And she goes, but Dada, what's wrong? Why don't you want to play with me? And I was like, I can't ever fucking do that again.
Yeah.
She understands that I go to work. If I'm at work, she's not like, where's Dada? But if I'm home and I won't play with her,
there's something up.
I don't want to create this thing in her brain where she has to compete for me or she feels abandoned. And so like the next 10 years from now, I want to be her best friend and I want to have time to be her best friend. And so whether 10 years from now is, I've exited everything and I fucking, am just living a beautiful life with my family, or I have 50 more restaurants. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I know that what I'm doing right now is I bought that fucking ranch 3 years ago and I'm starting to remodel it now.
Sick.
And it's 3 minutes from my fucking house.
That's going to be dope.
And Marguerite and I are going to cook there.
Okay.
We have with all the restaurants we have, I don't cook in all of them every night.
Yeah. This is going to be
got almost 400 employees now. Payroll every other Friday is over $500,000
for sure.
At this point, I'm going to have a simple life. That's what I want 10 years from now. I want a simple life. Whether I own 100 restaurants or I own 0, I want a simple life, and I want I want peace, I want happiness, and I want health.
Awesome.
That's it.
I love that, dude. Hell yes. Well, thanks for being on the show.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, good stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, you totally got that. I can't wait to see that new concept out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. And then you get to be the chef that you want to be too, right? And get back in there.
The last 3 years, I haven't been a chef. The last 3 years, I've been a defendant, and I've been a fucking businessman trying to just make money, because if I don't make enough money, there was always the walls were always closing.
Yeah.
And if I didn't make enough money fast enough, I'd run out of money to defend myself, and boom, everything would be gone. And I think it is just a testament to don't fucking give up.
For sure. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's go, bro.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. This was therapeutic.
Yeah. No, you went over a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this episode with you. I think it's great for the listeners and myself to like learn.
Yeah. I'll just have to check. I'll have to send this episode to my attorney to have him listen to it. Make sure we don't need to edit anything out before we post it.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well, that was awesome. This is a nice side of the table to be sitting on, and I'll have to return the favor. We'll have to flip this one around pretty soon.
Yeah, let's do it. Anytime, man.
Love you.
Yep. Love you, brother.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.